Hello everybody, my name is Jason James and I'm going to be running a tour to Japan's northern and southern islands of Hokkaido and Kyushu this autumn. The main tourist centres in Japan have become absolutely overwhelmed in recent years for very good reason, because places like Kyoto are really fantastic. But we've decided to do something a little different and take you off the beaten track. And in fact, there are several places on our itinerary that I've never managed to make it to, despite many years of being involved with Japan, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them. First, we'll visit Hokkaido in the north, which should be showing us some spectacular autumn leaves in October. This island was only really incorporated into Japan in the late 19th century. It's still something of a wilderness with massive volcanoes and lakes, and it's also the ancestral homeland of the Ainu people, who have a very different culture from most Japanese. With its slightly more Western style agriculture introduced in the late 19th century, it's also ground zero for Japan's whiskey and beer industries, and it has some amazing seafood, of which I remember the enormous crabs in particular. So on my bucket list here is Otaru on the north coast. This used to be the main port for trade with Sakhalin, the island to the north of Hokkaido. But Sakhalin was taken over by Russia at the end of the Second World War. Trade declined, and this small port has been preserved in aspic. But I've also never made it to a much bigger port, Hakodate, on the south coast, and that is supposed to have one of the great nighttime views of the world. When we get to Kyushu in the south, we're of course much closer to Korea and China than we are to Russia. But there's still lots of volcanoes, and we'll be visiting some hot spring resorts, including Beppu, which is famous for colourful geysers which spout hot water into the air in front of you. We'll be visiting Nagasaki, which has a particularly interesting history, having been Japan's main gateway to the rest of the world for the 2.5 centuries when it was isolated, up to about 1850. And of course, it has a tragic wartime history as well. But the place that's really on my bucket list in Kyushu is Kagoshima, on the far south end of the island. This was historically the headquarters of the very powerful Satsuma clan, which dominated the island of Kyushu for many centuries. And they also took over all the islands further south, all the way down to Okinawa. There's another volcano here in the bay that spews out ash quite regularly. And I'm looking forward to seeing this, but apparently the local council has special collection bags and street cleaning vehicles, and the locals carry robust umbrellas to stop getting ash on them as they go about their daily business. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of my old favourites with you, but also to discovering some completely new places.